Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get into the next retouching tool, which is the healing tool. And we also have the spot healing tool that we're going to cover in this video. So basically, if you've learned the clone stamp, the healing tool functions almost identically the same as the clone stamp. So for example, when you hold Option, you get this little target show up and you can click on pixels that are good. And then you can basically, let me make my brush smaller. Again, the brackets will help you with that. So we're going to go ahead and test with Option, and then we're going to go ahead and just start moving pixels. So sometimes students get these two tools confused, and what I have found with the healing tool is that it does a little bit better of a job in most cases in blending your pixels. So basically you're going to want to be able to go and edit these pixels so that it starts to retouch this damage. And a lot of the times you may find that this blends a little bit more smoothly than the clone stamp. Now, I don't want to say it's as perfect as the clone stamp. There are some examples where it's not going to work as well, and usually that's going to be in areas where there's lots of color contrasts and stuff because it is trying to blend. We also have the option here for spot healing. And so the spot healing tool here is something that is very similar, but the nice thing is you don't have to test. So I can literally just start clicking. And what happens is Photoshop tries to sample the pixels around and figure out pixels for you. Now, the good thing is it takes a little bit of that thought away from you and you can just start clicking. However, sometimes Photoshop does not know which pixels to test. And so it may actually test some of the damaged pixels. And I don't know if you guys can see some of the pixels that just showed up in that last one. They did bring over a few damages. So you may find it's very helpful, but like in that last example, I'll just do it one more time. Let's watch. Like it basically brought some of those damaged pixels over. So when you have a lot of damages, it may not always work for you. In some cases, like let's just see if it works for this one. That's not too bad. How about this one? And so you may or may not like the way the hair is showing up. I personally did not like that last one, but this first one wasn't too far off. And so you are going to have to test this and choose whether or not you like how it's turning out. Keep in mind that Photoshop does have a certain number of history states, so Command Z only works once for you, but you can actually go in here and by default 50 states are the default. So if you start retouching and you realize maybe a few steps back you don't like how that edit worked, you can go into that history panel and delete those states. As we go through, we will learn more about other retouching tools. Just know that this spot healing tool, even though it is super quick and super easy to go in and start clicking around, sometimes the pixels don't move around the way you want them to. Like Photoshop sometimes doesn't know exactly how to correct every little thing. But a lot of the times this spot healing tool, it can do a pretty good job of correcting these little damages for us. And it can become quite addictive pretty quickly. So you will want to zoom in really closely and look for all those little imperfections. And then you can start just basically going through and retouching and trying to clean up this image as best as you can. So this is just another option for you. Again, I personally find that the spot healing tool is great for like little tiny imperfections, and the healing brush is just another version of the clone stamp, but it just blends a little bit better. So I hope that helps you guys out, and we do have a few more tips to show you guys, so we will end this video and show you some more tips in another one.